Okay. So hi everyone, my name is Emilio Posa and this is my final capstone project on Johnson Controls International. Just some background information on the company. They were discovered in 1885 by Warren Johnson, which was over 135 years ago. And at that time, the Statue of Liberty just arrived in New York, and Mark Twain's Huckleberry Finn had just been published. So a lot has changed during this time. One of their first major discoveries was the electric room thermostat that was discovered in 1883, 2 years right before they were officially Johnson Controls. Now, the law has changed, and they have around 100,000 employees across the world in 2,000 different locations. They're a regular fixture on the Fortune 500 list. They're headquartered in Ireland, and their CEO is George Oliver. So some more background information. Johnson Controls operates in the fire HVAC security market. Some of their products and services include HVAC equipment, digital solutions, security, fire protection, fire suppression, and then many more. They provide us expertise in the healthcare, data center, manufacturing, industrial fields, amongst other sectors. And you can find Johnson Controls products in universities, school districts, airports, hospitals, sports stadiums, and concert venues. But Johnson Controls has also had an excellent reputation. They've won countless awards such as Engineering and Production Technology Leadership Award, the Enterprise Integration Technology Leadership Award, the Operational Excellence Award, and then amongst many more. And then they were also named 2021's Most Admirable Company list, and they were also named 2022 one of the world's most ethical companies. And then back in 2016, Johnson Controls actually merged with Tyco, who was another market leader at the time. And this merger has allowed Johnson Controls to sustain growth and become a market leader. So looking at the external environment of Johnson Controls, this is an industry that they participate in that is seeing a lot of growth in the future. They're expected to grow to over 130 billion by 2030, and the market size was estimated at 47 billion in 2021, and they're expected to grow at a CAGR rate of 6.4% from 2022 to 2030. And then a lot of different reasons for this growth. One of the biggest is the fact that there is a rising amount of construction in certain industries. There's also a rising demand for fire safety equipment for industries, such as the utilities, automotive, manufacturing, and energy and power and oil industries. Also, from a worldwide perspective, more and more countries are implementing stricter safety regulations. These regulations resort to more of these products being installed and bought. We're seeing these regulations more and more in North America, Europe, and the most of all is the Asia Pacific countries. There are also new and innovative products being developed that are associated with this growth. Examples of some of the products in this industry are the fire sprinkler systems, fire alarm systems, security management systems, and then alarm management systems, amongst others. The key players right now are Honeywell, Siemens, and Eaton, who are Johnson Controls' main competitors, and then also Halma, PLC, Gentex Corporation, Raytheon Technologies, and Robert Bosch GmbH. And then other driving forces, we have geography, technology, sustainability, and competition. For geography, like I said, certain countries have different regulations from each other, and as time has gone on, these regulations have become stricter, leading to more opportunities. For technology, we're at an age where technology is huge now, and most companies are being globally transformed technology-wise, and the companies in these industries must be able to adapt with the times and the technological changes. For sustainability, it's become incredibly important in this industry. Companies are trying incredibly hard to help the environment and are looking at ways to reduce their carbon footprint. And in competition with so many strong competitors, it's crucial for companies to constantly be innovating their products and their technology. And of all the five forces, I would say rivalry amongst existing firms is certainly the biggest threat for Johnson Controls right now, as there are many Fortune 500 firms competing in this industry, and they have a lot of resources and capabilities as well. So Johnson Controls must always be able to compete for their business. Next, we'll look at the internal environment, and Johnson Controls is led by their values, which is why they were able to win awards like Most Admirable Company and Most Ethical Company. These values include integrity first, purpose-led, customer-driven, future-focused, and one team. As you can see, their revenues have been pretty consistent between 23 billion to upper 23 billion every year. Besides 2020, where there was a slight dip down to 22.3 billion. And on the right, we have a SWOT analysis here, with their strength listed as 100,000 employees at 2,000 different locations. They have the resources, they have the strong reputation, and diversified products and services. They offer so many related products and services for their customers. This allows them to have a large target market that they can operate in. Their weakness is the current supply chain issues, workforce turnover, and the ongoing economy struggles. Right now, for opportunities, as we mentioned, there's a lot of growth in the industries, and then right now, for the threats, there's tough competition and high material costs and labor costs right now that they're suffering from. Next, we have the second part of the internal environment, and their core competencies are their ethics, sustainability, and their people. For ethics, obviously, being one of the most ethical companies in the world is a competitive advantage. Standing out amongst your peers as an ethical company will certainly help to win over customers and set your firm apart from your competitors. As I mentioned, they were named to the world's most ethical company list, and that was actually the 15th time they made the list. For sustainability, they have been able to implement sustainability strategies and see a real difference in growth. These accomplishments include reducing intensity by 5.5% and then reducing greenhouse emission intensities by 26%. And this went on from 2017 to 2020. They've also been able to implement sustainability in the work that they do. For example, in their project for Children's Hospital of Alabama, they were able to utilize sustainability programs to reduce natural gas at the hospital by almost 70%. And for people, workers are always a core competency and they always make a difference for an organization. So good workers can always be a competitive advantage. So their diversification strategy is related diversification because all their products are closely related in some way. They have a top-down organizational structure with the C-suite and upper management making most of the decisions. And then their value chain, their activities for marketing and their sales tactics are really excellent with various different strategies and marketing campaigns that they use. And right now, their methods for business growth are the diversified products and services that we mentioned, growth in market, power investments, and geographical reach. For geographical reach, they have a large target market, and their 2,000 locations allows them to reach that market. Also, for investments, they have made some strong advancements in quality fields. For example, they sold one part of their business and made $13 billion on the sale. They invested that money back into their smart buildings and smart cities capabilities so they could see that part of their business grow. So next we have the strategic issue, and we will begin to examine the strategic issue for Johnson Controls, and I will list the recommendations I have to combat this issue. Right now, one of the biggest problems that they face is the ongoing effects from the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, the pandemic has had some strong negative impacts. One of the first being the disruption of the supply chain. It has caused shortages and has delayed projects by months and years. This has had significant costs on Johnson Controls and has made it very hard for them to schedule and budget projects effectively. The pandemic has also had created significant increases in material costs. Some of the increase in prices, which have ranged from 25% for tariff-affected materials to more than 70 to 300% for lumber. Some have observed that structural steel has increased by more than 250%. Johnson Controls saw serious effects of their margins because of this. To put in perspective, in March 30th, 2020, when the pandemic hit, Johnson Controls had net margins at the time of 21.8% and a net income of over $5 billion. The following quarter, their net margin decreased to 3.54% and their net income dropped to just $800 million. And they're still seeing the effects of this as they reported a net margin of 6% at the end of 2021. Next, we have some more of the effects. We have also seen increases in labor costs and labor shortages that have affected Johnson Controls. Labor costs surged to 4% on a year-on-year basis, the largest rise since 2001, after increasing to 3.7% in the third quarter. This is very significant to Johnson Controls margins. For a labor shortage, there are over 10 million job openings and over 4 million employees quitting. Johnson Controls has seen a decline in employees as well. In 2019, they had 104,000 members on their workforce. That dropped to 97,000 in 2020. And in 2021, they're still trying to recover back to the 101% now. So more companies are increasing salaries and wages by 3.9% as well. This is the most since 2008. This is a very high wage considering the inflation rate right now. Companies such as suppliers and manufacturers will have to make up for this and increase their prices as well. This will lead to higher prices that Johnson Controls will have to pay. So suppliers who are paying their employees more will look to make up for this in other ways. And then the lack of face-to-face contact was a difficult adjustment as well for people to make. And Johnson Controls had to find new ways to adapt to this new norm. And there were also, and still are, a lot of cancellations for trade shows, which is a big way to gain publicity for products and services. So next, we'll look at the recommendations. My first recommendation is for Johnson Controls to buy their products in bulk. I would do this for a few reasons. The first is it allows them to have products on hand in the ever-changing supply chain. If they wait to order a product until they need it, then they may not be able to get it on time because of the supply chain. This allows them to have items on hand for every occasion. Obviously, there are contingencies as well, such as storage capacity, and it depends on the product if you're able to store it for a long period of time. But if these aren't there, then this will be very helpful. The next, buying in bulk creates the opportunity to get discounts on items. For example, some suppliers will give you a discount such as 5%. If you're buying a quantity of 45 and you up it to 50, they'll give a slight discount. Next, this on-hand inventory makes it much easier for project managers and sales reps to quote projects. They will not need to account for delays or other material costs that may have been incurred if they had to order these items. The next recommendation is to increase training to attract and retain employees. Employees want to be able to do their job effectively, so training would definitely help here, and I would also implement some more development programs. And the stats show here what the effects training and development programs do for employees and the longevity of the company. And next, I would utilize CRM tools properly to help deal with the lack of face-to-face contact with suppliers and customers. This creates constant flows of communication and complete transparency. Next, the next recommendation that I have for Johnson Controls is to use their technology capabilities to their advantage. They can use technology in a much more lean and agile way. Technology allows them to meet with clients virtually and meet even more clients virtually and meeting in person. Using technology like drones to look at projects and give insights to project managers, technicians, and allow them to understand more about the wants and needs of the customer. Drones are a great form of technology. They're small, they're safe, and compact, and it can make looking at land and projects a lot easier. Next, I would consider using digital marketing campaigns. These are incredibly effective and efficient, and in some ways even more effective than just going to trade shows and face-to-face meetings. They allow digital marketing campaigns can reach people all over the world, which is exactly what Johnson Controls wants. Next would be a joint venture. I believe joint ventures are so beneficial for companies, especially post-COVID. In joint ventures, the companies split the profits and loss, and they share the risk. You get more resources and expertise, and you can save on costs. And companies, can share their expertise and and help with their reputation to get the project done. And then, unlike a merger or an acquisition, once the project is done, you can go back to being the company you were before. I think this would be perfect for Johnson Controls because the majority of their projects are rather large, like for hospitals and universities. Going in on projects with a partner may give them a better chance at scoring the bid for their project, and may help them to cover more ground more efficiently and get a higher profit. And they can use these resources from the other company they join. Joining with a company that has more familiarity in other sectors may also be very helpful as well. So next we have my conclusion, and there certainly are some strategic issues, one of them being the impact that COVID-19 has had. The pandemic certainly affected businesses and people everywhere. I believe with some of the recommendations that I've listed, and if Johnson Controls continues to utilize their policies and strategies, that they will be able to overcome this issue. Johnson Controls is an incredible company, and they have an outstanding past and an extremely bright future. After analyzing their market, there is plenty of room for growth and opportunity that Johnson Controls will surely capitalize on. The company's core competencies, ethics, sustainability, and its people truly set themselves apart from their competitors. I have no doubt that there will be continued success for the firm. And I just wanted to say thank you. This is the end of my presentation. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen. It has been a pleasure working with you all for the past 8 weeks, and for some of you, a few semesters now. So thanks so much for making all this worthwhile, and best of luck to you all on your future endeavors. Thank you.